GeoNet's the next one I want to talk about. That is probably my top DePIN holding, actually. So Mike Horton, also, that guy's a freaking genius. He's their CEO. What they're doing is building out a network for very precise location data. Right. So when you tap into a GNSS or global navigational satellite system, there's about, I think, 4 or 5 of those around the world. You have Europe has Galileo. You have Russia has, I forget what the name of theirs is. You also have, China has theirs. The US has one, GPS. So you guys are probably familiar with that. When you tap into these satellite systems, you can only get within a couple meters of accuracy. Right. And generally to connect to, I think, 4 satellites at a time in order to triangulate your position. That's fine for certain use cases, right? If you're just trying to get, directions from one place to another and you're driving, okay, you can be a couple of meters off. That's not a big deal. Yep. When it comes to autonomous vehicles, which is going to be the biggest robotic sector to start with, flying drones
where they don't have roads to kind of guide them, where they can go literally anywhere. Like, you need to be
very accurate,
centimeter precise.
Absolutely. And agriculture is another big one. So what they did is they used a token incentive model to essentially set up these base stations all over the world, and that helps to triangulate that position. It actually corrects for the margin of error from the satellites, so where you can get in that 1 to 2 centimeter level accuracy. They're working with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They also are very heavily going to be in, working in robotics. So it's called RTK, real-time kinematics. Okay, and that's what the base stations are. That's what that technology is called. So robotics is going to be huge, and actually they feed into ROVR, and ROVR is collecting data that's used to train autonomous vehicles. They're tapping into the GeoNet network to get really precise location data for that data. So ROVR is using LiDAR technology. Okay, so you put a unit on top of your car, and the LiDAR technology uses a laser system where as you drive around, it shoots out lasers that have a return, builds like a 3D rendering around you. And that data is really, really valuable for training autonomous vehicles, but also for, robotics for the outside world. Auki's kind of mapping the inside world, whereas ROVR's mapping the outside world. And using the GeoNet network, not only are they getting this data set, but it's a very precise location on the data set. So their tokenomics are actually intermingled. So as revenue comes in, it helps both projects. Very early stage project. The market cap's a little bit higher. The circulating supply is a little bit higher than what it shows on CoinMarketCap. But that is a project I also have a lot of investment in GeoNet. GeoNet got all the way down to like 10 cents in the market. When the market dropped out, it's already back up to about almost 15 cents. So it's rebounded quite nicely. I think it's the one project that's probably green today versus the rest of the market. If you go to the daily, I think it's up. I think it's about the only project that's up. Yeah, about 11.5%. I was looking this morning. So all 3 of those projects, to me, they hit the robotics narrative that I think is going to be, what we've seen with AI the last few years. I believe looking forward, that's going to be robotics. They're all ROVR's announced they have a big last mile delivery service they're inking a contract with. They have 300 companies in their pipeline. They have 20 proof of concepts or POCs in place where they're testing out the data. And obviously that's the sales cycle. They test out the data, then you ink a contract. So all of them have real revenue coming through the door. They're all solving real world problems. They all have amazing leadership. And they're all 3 that I have pretty heavy investment in myself. So I'm very excited about all 3 of those projects. I think those are the ones that I'm very focused on looking forward right now for sure.
ROVR looks like it's just on the 7-day. It looks like it's a good time to buy the dip there. As you say, very early stage. So, that's the kind of one. Some of these plays I feel like are the kind of ones where you can buy them, again, not financial advice, but you can buy them and hold them for like 5 years and it'll be worth, a fortune by then, or 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I think some of these, we're so early in this. People don't realize how big autonomous taxis are going to be. It's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And it's going to, unfortunately, replace a lot of the gig economy. That's actually kind of a bad thing because the gig economy has held up our job market largely, but it's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry